Everybody, Verumbit here. This is the second tutorial I do for the Slice Marketplace package. You find the link in the description. You can purchase the package. You can download, open the level Slice, and follow this tutorial. In the first two steps, we will go inside the blade blueprint, and I will explain you the most important things when you want to attach this blueprint to your character or a new character, if you have your personal character with your animation and so on. The second step is very important, how to use the tags I put on each actor. So each actor in the level is identified by a tag, so very important to follow this part here. Then in the third step, we will see the Lightsaber and DualSaber blueprints. These are free blueprints. You find the link in the description. You can download the folder and you will copy this folder in the content folder of the project. Remember that I'm using Unreal Engine 4.22.3, so these blueprints will work with this version of the Unreal Engine, the last one. And the Lightsaber is, and also DualSaber, come with all the material, effects, sound, and so on. So you can download for free, and I will explain you how to attach them to your player. In this case, I'm using the Slice package, but you can use also your player without purchasing the Slice package. Last blueprint is also a free blueprint. You can attach to your player, to the camera of your player, and lets you make a sort of autofocus. Like this effect here, so you see the player is in focus and this pipe here is not, and also a zoom in and out, which is randomly activated when you make your attacks. So the camera is moving very slowly and gradually towards and far from the player. Let's start with the tutorial on step 1. So here is the Slice package. As you can see, I have all my blueprints here, and this is my level. First thing, I want to remind you, when you open this this package is to activate the Apex Distraction plugin. If you don't do this, you will have error. So just enable this and restart the project. This Apex Distraction is used by the cannons, so when the blade overlaps the cannons, you will, as I show you, you will have the cannons. So for this reason, you need the Apex Distraction. The second thing I want to tell you is, if you go in the blueprints, the player, you always have to put this blueprint here, the load time control, in your level. This blueprint, which I already put here, controls all the time, slow and fast time inside the level. So very important to put always this blueprint in the level. Now let's see about the blade. So the first step about the blade blueprint. I don't have a new character, but I will act as if I have one. So let's say you have your character here, and you want to attach the blades. So you just need to select a child actor blueprint. You attach this child actor to your mesh. You select a socket. I select the katana right socket. You put to 0 all these. So you see it's here, and then you select the blade blueprint here. So I already done this. Important when you attach your child blueprint to rename it as I name this. So blade_R. Another thing, very important, and here I go directly to the step 2, tags. So the first tag I set is on the blade. If you select here the blade and you go on the right and you set tag, you see that I put a tag blade_R, which is the tag that identifies this actor inside the level. And I will show you later how I use this. So every time you put this in your character, also go here in tag and under actor tags, create a new tag, and name it blade_r like is here. This is very, very important. Okay, one more thing about the tags. The tags are not only on the blade, but they are also on all of these BP, sorry, you don't see it, BP slice static mesh. So all of these actors here are tagged, and you can find the tag here and on the procedural mesh. And if you open the blueprint, you see that I set the tag here. You filter here on the right by tag, and you can find this, which is the tag. It's like a label you put on the actor, let's say. Inside the level, I know that all of these actors have this label on it. So, for example, when I do the slicing of an object, let's say, I check here if the actor I'm slicing has a tag. So, and this tag must be the static mesh to procedural mesh, which is exactly this tag here, which is all of these tags of these blueprints here. So I look if the object I'm slicing has this tag. If it has this tag, it means that it's a static mesh converted to a procedural mesh. If this is true, I go ahead and I can slice a procedural mesh, which is this here, or I can slice a bullet, because also the bullet is, if you see here on the procedural mesh, also the bullet is a static mesh converted into procedural mesh. So tag is very important. If we go back to the blade logic, you see here I slice. When I slice inside the slice blueprint, when I slice this mesh, I check if the actor that is slicing has this tag. So back to what I was saying before, the blade_r. So which is this? So if the actor is really the blade, so perform the slice. Otherwise, you don't do anything. So this is a sort of double check I'm using during the slice. This is everything about the tags. I want to add one more thing. Let me see. Okay, I want to add one more thing about the blueprint. So in my level, I'm using this actor, the BP player actor, and in all the blueprints that are impacting with this actor, let's say, I do this sort of operation. Like, for example, when I go to slice the projectile, I need to check to cast to my BP player, and instead of casting every time, more than one time inside the blueprint, I just cast once on the begin place. So this is important because this is valid for my BP player, but if you have your character, you need to change this. So perhaps your character is called BP_new character, and you will have to do a new cast like this, cast to your new character, for example this, and here you will have to put this in your character. You do this by changing the type of blueprint you are selecting. So, for example, you say default pawn. So I'm using the default pawn. So you select the default pawn. Now I don't do it, but you change here, and then you connect this, and immediately you are casting to your blueprint player. And you can use this variable in all the blueprint, which is this. So you can see I use it here, I use it here, I use it all over the blueprint. And this is done only one time, which is better. It's done here in the slice projectile, is done here in the enemy blueprint. So this, I can do the same here. So if you need to change also here, if you change your player blueprint, is done perhaps, yes, also here, and is done, no, here no. So remember to do this, because otherwise the blueprints don't speak together one another as they do now. You need to cast to the correct player blueprint. The last thing I want to say about the player is that in order to perform the slice behavior, you've got to add also this static mesh, which is the sphere that detects the bullets, and you have also in this case to put this name here, and of course you have to copy all these red blueprints parts that I put in the player blueprint of the event part and of the construction script. This part in particular here is the part that activates the animation of the player. Perhaps you already have your character animation, so you don't need to do this, but you have to set this check here on the attacking variable. And the other thing is this part here where you check, where you use the rotation of the mouse to perform a better slice, and this is on the tick event, and this uses the can cut right variable. This variable here is set true or false in the animation blueprint. So if you go here on the player, you see that there is animation blueprint. Actually, is not this one. The one is used by the blueprint, but is this variable here, which is this one in the slice editor is this one. This for the animation blueprint, and these two for the animations, and these are sorry. And these the animation blueprint, as you can see, we have the animation graph where I set this behavior here in order to use the animation right in the blueprint in this way, and this part here is where I use the can cut setting. So this can cut right here is activated here, true or false, depending on the fact that you start to cut and you stop to cut. These two notifies together with the reset animation, so the reset combo. The reset combo is this part here where the reset animation. These notifications here are used in the animation montage. So when you open the animation montage, this or also this, you find here the notification. So cut right start, cut right start, and reset combo. Also in reset animation, you have every time you start cutting, cut right start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. These are the instant where you can slice. So you start cut right start and cut right stop. Cut right start sets the can cut right true, and stop sets the can cut right false, and the reset combo sets the is attacking false. So when it's true, you can start cutting, and this is checked also on all the other blueprints. And when you start attacking, you set the attacking variable true. When you stop attacking, it's set to false by this reset combo. Okay, let's start now speaking about the Lightsaber and the DualSaber blueprints, and also about the camera autofocus and auto zoom. These blueprints are free to download. You find the link in the description. Click on the link and you will download a zip file. And I remember you that these blueprints are valid for Unreal Engine 4.22.3, so they will work under this version. Download the zip file and you will have this folder here coming up. This folder you need to copy and this folder into the content folder of your project. So basically I have the Slice Marketplace project in front of me. I copy it in the content, so you will have this result. One thing I need to say before starting with this Lightsaber is that I'm already using the blueprint, the player blueprint, with the twin blade animation. Basically, if you don't have this, you just need to go back to my previous tutorial, this one, and you find this on my YouTube channel and also on the marketplace page. There is a link, and you go here where I speak about rig to the twin blade animation. So basically, of course, you need to have the twin blade animation package, twin blade anim set base package, and if you have this, you will have the player set in this position. So you will have the player basically with the twin blade animation blueprint and these two animations, attack animations. Okay, so I will go ahead, considering that you have already done this. In this tutorial, I really explain step by step how to do this. And once you have done this, let's go back to the saber. So basically, in this saber folder, there are the saber mesh, the materials of this mesh, and also of the lights and the sound of the saber. Then there is the saber blueprint, which is basically this, where you can light the saber, turn on and off the saber, change the color. These are all the color of the saber, and you can generate this trace. The trace is when you hit a wall with the saber, you leave like a line, a trace, depending on the color of the saber. This is the blueprint. Other three blueprints I created to make things easy and fast. These are all the pieces of blueprint you need to copy into your slice blueprint. So basically, open the BP blade into your slice package, which is this, and open also this, copy into BP blade. You will find this code here, and you need to copy this inside the BP blade, which I already done. The point where you need to copy this is here, and these are the connection. This and this. This is one. Then you need, I do this because it's the same. You need to get this. So basically, I'm getting the color of the saber, and you need to pass this into the BP slice static mesh, which is here, BP slice static mesh. So you copy and paste here, and you connect like this, here and here. So you see where is the position to copy and paste. You connect when it's true. The last thing you need to copy is this one, the BP player. So this is all the part, all this is the part of the code you need to copy in your, so you just Ctrl+C, you need to copy in your player blueprint. So you open the player blueprint, you open the event graph, and you paste inside here. So you will paste this green code, which is the camera code, and regarding the zoom and the focus, and also this blue part here, which is the saber activation. You have this part and also this part here. This part is where you have to connect with your player blueprint. So when you press, you cast to the saber, you check if the saber is out. If it's true, you do the attack animation with the left mouse button and with the right mouse button. When you press, you cast and you do the attack animation. And when you release, you launch this camera zoom, this random zoom, which selects from two values, 0 and 1. If it's 0, it's a zoom in. If it's 1, it's zoom out. So it basically does, every time you do an attack animation, it does a zoom in and zoom out. We will see this later on. Then in your event tick here, you have to connect this saber trail. Perhaps when you pass the code here, the blueprint code inside the player here, this is not working, so you need to basically create a new one and connect here to this. And then you compile. When you compile, you will have some errors here because you need to create some variables. The variable you need to create are basically this is the follow camera, so you just drag this here. Then there is this is the focus value, and you have to set 10,000. Then the focus location, which is 0. Here again the follow camera, and this is about the zoom. Then here nothing. You have the spring arm here, this one, spring arm, which should come fine. And here you have to connect the lightsaber. The lightsaber is a child actor, and I will explain you how to do this. One thing I didn't tell you is that when you download this zip file, inside there is a help file. The help file is this, and it explains all the steps to do in order to activate the lightsaber inside your player blueprint. So let's go through these steps, because I also want to check them if we have done all of them. So copy the saber folder into the project console, and we have done this. Duplicate the blade child actor inside the VP player, name it lightsaber. Okay, so let me close this. So we need to duplicate this inside the VP player. So you do duplicate, and you have this child actor, and you name it lightsaber. And then select it, the child as BP saber, which is this. I also add that you need to use this socket, which is the twin blade IKEA hand, right hand, and then you have to apply these values of rotation and scale. This is 0, you cannot put 0, but it's like 0, so 180, 120, and these scale values. Then change the katana mesh by selecting the saber and rotate 180. Okay, now you get the katana mesh, you change it, selecting the saber mesh, and you use again this socket, and then you use these values, 720, 60, 540. It's better to use this because they work. Now go in the saber folder, and this we have already done all this part to copy and paste all the code into our 3 blueprints. And the last part is open the 2-player attack animation, not the montage, just animation, remove the particle trail effects, and change this sound into the saber swing 1 and saber swing 2 wave sound. So basically you need to get this, which is the first animation. To remove the trail sound, which I've already done, and change your original sound, which was this, the fire swing sound, into the saber swing 1. So you just select here the sound, and also this one. The same thing for the other attack animation. You need to select to remove the trail and select the sound. I put swing 1 here, swing 1 here, and swing 2 here in the middle. So this is the animation. Okay, this is it. This is the. Okay, so if we have done all things properly, we have our lightsaber ready. To activate the saber, you press E. To change the color, you press R. So turn on off the saber, change the color, saber color. And this is inside the player blueprint. This is the saber you need to connect. So you just drag this here and connect where needed. That's it. So I press. Okay. One thing I want to tell you is this. The difference between the lightsaber and the double saber is basically inside here and here. So basically, if you have a twin blade, you put 2 as a value. If you had a single blade, so a lightsaber, you put 1. If you have a 1 saber, you put 30 here. If you have a twin blade, you put 190. So basically, this is the length of the saber, which is 1 or 2, depending on if it's 1 saber or double saber. And this is the position along the axis. So if it's 1 saber is 30, otherwise you need to translate and I show you. So basically now we have a single saber. If I put the double of the length, but I don't change this, so I have to translate it 190, and I have okay. This is the thickness of the saber. You can can put also 1. I prefer 0.5, right? And remember also that you have seen in the tutorial when I was speaking here about rig between blade animation. Remember that what is making the slice is the blade, is not the saber. So the saber is just something you see, but the real slice is the position of the blade blueprint. So this is regarding the lightsaber. The other part of the camera autofocus and camera zoom in and out is managed here. So basically, when you make an attack animation, I decided to activate the zoom when I release the left or mouse button, but you can decide how you want. For me, it's easier to do like this. I activate this. So basically, I launch this action here. So randomly I created zoom in or zoom out. The zoom in, basically what is it, the zoom in? Basically you get the spring arm, so you get the spring arm. One thing that I didn't say is that I translated this arm. So spring arm is 200 and I put an offset of 40, 100. Basically is pointing to the knee here in the middle of the legs, and there is 40 on the right, 40 and 100. The altitude is here 37 negative, so you see here, and then 140 and 200 is the normal distance. What I do in the blueprint is that basically I zoom in and zoom out the camera. When I zoom in from 200 to 100. You can also put 80, 90 is even closer to the player. And when I zoom out, I do the same, but in the, you see, I do the same, but in reverse. So basically, the same values are here, but in reverse. The only thing that changes is the speed. I do this because here I do this in 1 second, and here I do this. No, it's always 1 second. Okay. At the beginning was 2 seconds, but now it's 1 second. So you zoom in, and here you zoom out. When you zoom out, you pass from 200 to 400 distance in 2 seconds. And when you go back to normal, you pass from, as reverse, you pass in just 1 second from 400 back to 200. This is the logic. And I put some delay here when you zoom out, so it stays at 400 distance, a random float between half a second and 1 second. And that's it. This is the logic behind. The result is this. So basically, let me put full screen. So you see it's going below, and then it's going back to which is a nice effect. The other effect is the focus, which is this. Basically, this is based on this is a variable you need to put through. This is focus value is 10,000. Is based. Let me put this value here, so you see. Oh, sorry, this on the circle DOF method, and on the focus location. So basically, when you go, you have your focus location, and you are focusing. This is visible when you have like very close. tutorial, I downloaded these, apart from the twin blade animation, so where you have these animations here, I downloaded this apocalyptic city. You find the link in the description, and the wild tribe character. And I did the video you have seen in my tutorial announcement. So I will load the level here. I think is this, the showcase, just to show you the final result. Okay, which is this. So basically, I show you what I did here. So I put the player. Where I put the player? Okay, I put the player up here. I put the player up here. The player is. I'm using the wild. This skeletal mesh. So this wild tribe skeletal mesh for my player. You need just to assign your skeleton to the V mannequin, and that's it. And it's perfect. And then I use it for my enemy. I used this one, this mannequin. Again, you get the mannequin and you assign to the I think is this one. Yes, this one here. And I use the same. Okay, I did also the position. If you don't know how to do this, just go to my previous tutorial, and you have here the this one, how to do the death position when you slice the skeletons. And then I set my cannons here, and I also created some slicing meshes like this. This is slicing meshes using this mesh here, and which is this. So I put a collision, and I put enable the allow CPU access, and I was able to use my like this, and I was able to use my blueprint to slice like this. I put these sliceable blueprints here, and also there is one here. Basically, you can use any mesh you have in this level, which is very good level. I also use this and this here, this one here, this one here, and this one and this one. They're all sliceable. So basically, if I okay, let me remove the this one, the camera field of view tracing. So I start again. You see animation, the camera goes, and then back to the and you can see this effect. This effect of the autofocus. If I go here, you see the spine in autofocus, and the slicing part That's it. This completes the tutorial. Was not a simple tutorial. Perhaps I even forget something, I don't know, but it's all free. So I will leave the comment open. So if you want to put some comments and to tell me where I miss something, you're welcome. And Thank you for following me, and thank you for purchasing the Marketplace Slice package. Bye-bye.